Kirkland. Chad Leeny. Adam Wynn. Bill Shedd. Paulette Summey.
Aye.
Roger Thomas. Chris White.
Motion carries. Thank you. Resolution number 0223-5D. Be it resolved by the Monroe County Board of County Commissioners meeting in regular session, February 23rd, 2021, that the following amendment from the Monroe County GIS Office and the Soil Conservation Office for the Secretary and clerical salary in a total amount of $2,871.54 be made in the county general fund budget for this fiscal year 2020-21. Is there a motion?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Who made that motion?
Mr. Linda?
I hate to ask you, but unless it's Roger Thomas or Paulette, y'all care, I'm serious, they're the only two I know that's making them with mass.
All right.
Say Harold. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Is there any other discussions besides mask definition? All right, we'll move to roll call vote, please.
Joe Anderson.
Aye.
Luke Wright. Brian Harrell. Richard Kirkland. Chad Leeny. Adam Reynolds. Bill Shedd. Paulette Summey.
Aye.
Roger Thomas. Chris White.
Motion carries. Thank you. Resolution 0223-5E. Be it resolved by the Monroe County Board of Commissioners meeting in regular session February 23rd, 2021, that the following amendment for a grant for the Monroe County Election Commission be made in the county general fund budget for fiscal year 2020-21. The purpose of this amendment is to assist in the payment of voting machines purchased in the previous fiscal year with the grant revenue realized this fiscal year.
Harrell. So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Harrell.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wiseman. Is there any discussion? I just heard about it. Is there any discussion? No discussion, roll call vote, please.
Joe Anderson.
Aye.
Luke Wright. Brian Harrell. Richard Kirkland. Chad Leeny. Adam Reynolds. Bill Shedd. Paulette Summey.
Aye.
Roger Thomas. Chris White.
Motion carries. Thank you. You have the Monroe County Board of Education budget amendments for this month. Do y'all hear a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
One discussion, just 366,000. Is that money that they receive?
Yes, they have to.
And so it increased their budget that much, and it just going to buy the laptop that we're doing with it?
Yeah, actually, they knew they were getting it last year, but it wasn't finalized till this year. So some of the money was spent last year's budget, in May and June. So we got reimbursed, and the state told us that we could put it back in our budget to use it again.
So how much total money have they received?
Well, 1.1, they're getting ready to approve 4.9, at 366.
That's really? They gonna give us money? Just kidding. That's something.
One question about the charity check from them. What is that for?
From my knowledge, it's the nurses that do like well child exams in the office. And they bill the insurance, so it's like an extra incentive, that they pay the nurses to do their like well check exams there at school.
So they pay the money back.
Yes.
Is there any other discussion or questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Move to resolution 0223-7. Resolution by the Monroe County Board of Commissioners and the Monroe County Mayor regarding proposed action by the Knox County Board of Health. Whereas Monroe County is a political subdivision of the state of Tennessee, and whereas the founding document of the United States declares that governments are instituted by the people, deriving their just powers from the consent of the government. And whereas the Monroe County Board of Commissioners and the Monroe County Mayor believe in limited government and that the elected and appointed officials should act utilizing conservative principles which ensure freedom and protect civil liberties. And whereas the Knox County Board of Health has expressed an interest in extending its jurisdiction to and exercising control over the citizens of Monroe County and businesses located in the county. And whereas the Monroe County's Health Department provides exceptional service to its citizens and others, and whereas the Monroe County contends that any effort by the Knox County Board of Health to exercise control or otherwise regulate the freedoms and liberties of the citizens and businesses is unconstitutional, and whereas the Monroe County Board of Commissioners and the Monroe County Mayor wish to voice their steadfast oppositions to the Knoxville County Board of Health, an attempt to extend its jurisdiction and to exercise control over Monroe County and other counties. And whereas this resolution is drafted to voice said opposition.
Is that a motion for Mr. Vice?
Madam Chair, can I just clarify a little bit on this? We do not feel that Monroe County, since it's not immediately touching Knox County, would be immediately impacted. I have been reached out by Mayor Jacobs, Mayor Bradshaw, and Mayor Mitchell of Blount County. They all are affected by this, along with many other counties. Of course, this is a hot topic in the news. This would be more to support those counties, but also in case it does happen, that they would be far reaching out beyond those counties. But as of right now, it would not affect Monroe County, but we want to at least show our support for the counties that do touch it. Thank you.
So we have a motion on the floor. So we have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Now, discussion.
Commission.
How do they have the authority to do that?
Well, if you're following the news, there is there's a battle between the Knox County Health Department and the board. There's a Knox County Board and County Commission. They are totally governed different than we are. We're in a large region, even though that our central location is in the Knox County office, in the central office, but we're a multi-county governed region, whereas Knox County is their own individuality. And they're expressing interest in control far-reaching past Knox County. However, the county commission wants to take some of the powers away from that particular group. So there's a little bit of a struggle. If you follow that, I believe they tabled that in their last county commission meeting. They had all kinds of public comments for like 2 hours. Councilor Nelson, obviously you're a little bit involved in that. Do you want to elaborate any further?
No,
Have I misspoken on anything?
well, what you're alluding to is the fact that Knox County has its own health department, okay? It administered by Knox County. Our health department is one of 15 county health departments in the East region that is administered by the Tennessee Department of Health. And so those 15 counties are being governed, if you will, administratively by the central authorities of the State Department of Health in Nashville. Knoxville is different because of how they have arranged their health department some considerable period of time ago. I don't think, based on everything that I'm hearing, that there is a realistic prospect that they're going to get traction with this idea of extending authority within those counties that, again, are governed by the state of Tennessee Department of Health. So that's where we take our direction from. We're fortunate to have Teresa Harrell, some good people in the department here, that's what they're doing. Of course, that's what Loudoun County is one of those counties, 15 counties in the region, as is Blount, Anderson, Rome, Sevier, and on and on. So I don't think that there's a great threat that this is going to happen, but there has been some noise about it.
This council is appointed, not voted in the election.
Some of them is by position. For example, the University of Tennessee Chancellor is on that board, Mayor Jacobs, the Knox City Mayor. It's a combination. I'm sure some school board people, probably director of schools. It's a rather large board.
Any more discussion? Move the question. Roll call vote, please.
Joe Anderson,
Aye.
Luke Wright. Brian Harrell. Richard Kirkland. Chad Leeny. Alan West. Bill Shea. Paulette Summey. Roger Thomas. Chris Powell.
Motion carries. Thank you. Resolution 0223-8, be it resolved by the Monroe County Board of County Commissioners meeting in regular session, February 23rd, 2021, that the following amendment for the Monroe County Sheriff's Department be made in the county general fund budget for the fiscal year 2020-21. The amendment is necessary to fund new fleet lease payments for 20 vehicles for the Sheriff's Department at the request of Sheriff Tommy Jones.
Motion.
Is there a second?
There.
Who was the second? Discussion.
I've got a question, if I direct the sheriff. I understand some of the vehicles are aging out, I know some of the warranties are there. Is there a reason we couldn't do this in phases with a smaller number of vehicles to be phased in, so we don't run into this issue in 4 or 5 years down the road where we're having to fund the entire purchase of the fleet? Could we amend this? I don't know if anyone would be in favor of that, or, so it's not such a large burden at one time.
In the past, the past two sheriffs I worked for, Sheriff Goodens and Watson Mower, had different numbers of vehicles they've done each year. When we came in office, they were in 5 vehicles per year, which is 20 over a 4 year at a time. What we ran into doing those and making them smaller groups is the vehicles that was on the road to continue. That 4th or 5th year, the maintenance cost was costing so much money. That it's costing more than we saved. That's how we came up with this money. When we first came in, we merged money from our maintenance lines over into the purchase and went to the lease, where he was buying 5 vehicles a year. It's worked out good for us as far as with the maintenance being less. The vehicles we got, the Dodges at the time was the, I guess, hottest vehicles you could get. That's what everyone was going with. They had the best warranties, 5 to 100,000 mile, and they were the cheapest. Where Ford and Chevy only had 3 or 36,000, and the prices was me personally, appreciate the question, thank you. I don't think it'd be a good idea to do with the fleet that we have, the condition that they're in. We do have, finance has it already, you guys do not have it, it will be next month if we get approved for this. We have already given them 17 vehicles that we will be selling. We'll be adding an additional 3, which is the jail van, another Expedition, and another Explorer, that will be taking out of service. These other ones will help be good. Some of those that's on that list are in charge because we're having so many mechanical problems out there that they're not going to keep. If we lose the engine right now, we're losing $4,000. You know, so I don't think that it would be a wise decision to do that.
What about the vehicles themselves? I mean, is it necessary for everyone in the department to have, or almost say everyone really, is that the vast majority of the officers that have a full-size, 4-wheel drive vehicle with increased fuel cost and maintenance?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. We actually went through, we priced out Chevy, Ford, and Dodge. And price-wise, on the Chevys, you got that front of it, was $50,450. The Ford was $50,513. Now, this is fully equipped, not base price. And the Dodge Durango is $50,936. So Chevy actually came in with the least amount as far as per vehicle. For the fuel mileage is 19 miles per gallon on the Chevy, 15 miles per gallon on the Ford, and 16 miles per gallon on the Ranger. We currently have a Ford Explorer in our fleet that I detected guys. And what the partner, just tell y'all about this first. He fills up probably 2 to 3 times a week in the Ford, in the Explorer, compared to what the actual full-size Suburban takes. These vehicles, the Chevys, they run off of the 4, 6, 8 cylinders, depending on what load they're running. So the fuel mileage is actually pretty good. And that was one of my biggest questions I had, was what V8 compared to V6s, and the weight and size of the vehicles. Now that's per load mileage, what they get us.
You said for the clip, they come with light bars and all that already, or is that?
Yes,
separate?
that price, when they come in, walk on the desk with the keys, they'll be on the road.
What's the price before all the accessories, just the base?
It's in their chat.
I don't think we have that, which is
The one that you, no, the one I quoted you, no. I don't know, you don't have that. Really, you know what the base price of the tacos?
We're 33, 540, I believe.
33, 540, before it.
And your total cost for all of this?
The total cost for every one of them is $1,002,914.
Is that yearly?
Plus how much interest?
Lee, is that including the interest on that?
That total is not.
That total is not.
We've got another $75,000 in interest.
Yeah, that's about right. Another 75,000 for interest.
How many cars are in your fleet?
I mean, in our fleet, we got 20 patrol, which that's where all 20 of these will be going, is to the patrol deputies. We've got the SROs, there's 12. We've got 3 assigned to the jail, that's 3. Our admin staff, myself, the chiefs, the detectives division, and, 6, am I missing anything, Chris? And the court officers
We're
are
officers,
also 2, right? Yeah, 3. And there's 5 court officers and 3 of them. And you just might on that.
So at the present time, how many vehicles is assigned to the sheriff's department that's on the county insurance?
I can't give you an exact number on that, but it is, I think, wrong.
64 comments.
Is it close to 100?
Vehicles, no.
I think it's 64.
64.
Like 60, 64, let's say 60, 65.
This is part of the penny tax increase that was added to last budget.
That was the penny you guys pulled from the last one and reserved in the general fund. That was in our budget for many, many years prior to.
Sheriff, what was the, it wasn't quite 95, was it? What were we spending prior year? I know what you're talking about, the vehicle and the cost is going to be more.
88.
So, okay, so 88, we're already spending 88.
That's what was paid off and then taken out of their budget. It was about 88,000.
I think it was 86 and change it, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere close. Yeah.
Commissioner, I asked the sheriff to give us a listing of each vehicle that, as part of his budgeting process, and who drives that vehicle. So that you all can, we used to do that every year. For some reason, the last couple of years, we've not done that. But that will be part of his budget presentation this year. So you can get an idea of who's driving vehicles.
And that's something like, Director just said, it's something we've always done, we keep records of one of those, and Ryan Grover, the fleet manager, he basically runs a file like this on every vehicle that we have, shows the maintenance of them, where we're having problems. And that's what we're trying to eliminate
increases right now in those cost insurance.
Yeah, what is that?
About 13, 14 a year.
13, 14 miles per gallon.
Know what your average mileage on the cars?
Yeah,
that you
13,
have.
14,000 a year.
What,
Oh.
how many miles do they have?
How many miles do they have on them, Joe?
You got them, they range right now from, I've got some that are 62,000, got some fixing to go over 100,000. So, they're, because the last time we got the Dodges, it took forever to get, so the last ones that we got had the lower miles. So the first ones are almost 100,000, they're like 92, 93,000.
I don't know if you guys saw or not, the paperwork that was not attached to the resolution and the handout that we reviewed. The front page, basically, all thing that's, the biggest thing stands out to you is that Chevy has shut down orders as of February 25th, 2021. This dealership here has already put the order in on a fleet of SUVs and trucks and bring it into the dealership. So they will have something. The reason for that, on the second page, you see where it's due to the pandemic, and it's rolled throughout the automotive industry. And I'm not going to read it word for word, it's highlighted, it's really well through. And it's to do with the microchip supply chain. So, the last page, you can see, and I highlighted that for you guys, so that it's a little complicated, is that if we don't move forward with this right now, and this kind of leads into your question too, they will not start to take orders on these again on the crew cab trucks until 9/20/21, and the Tahoe's 10/1. Those will not be, if you put an order in at that time, you will not receive those vehicles till 2022. It's about 6 to 7 months after the order goes in for you get. The reason they shut the order down, like I said, due to the pandemic, microchips, some of them can't produce them quick enough. So what orders they have in now is all of them. Like I said, this dealership here says that he can, will have them for us. But now we will not receive these vehicles until probably around September is when we'll receive them. So it's after the budget, the new fiscal year.
Also, Commissioners, I want to show you too that we won't necessarily, if you approve this tonight, this is just some added information. We won't necessarily go with GM leasing. I usually get a better deal than that. And so I will negotiate the lease if you approve it. And that's completely up to you, but I want you to know that the interest on it may not be that high. Whenever you get into budgeting, you'll see that. I'll have it figured by budgeting, whether you approve it tonight or next year.
And guys, we're also going to look at a possibility of 4 and 5 year lease. This company does not offer 5-year lease program. The other companies, the ones we used in the past do, depending on the money and the interest rates, and we want this as affordable as possible.
So it's possible, nothing guaranteed, it's possible that the lease payment that's quoted here would go down.
Because of the interest on it. I would say you should do that with the highway department.
Sure.
But we don't really, this is my personal opinion, we don't want to lease sheriff's departments vehicles for 5 years. They're dead in 5 years.
Sure.
And that would be my suggestion that we don't do that.
4 year.
And because it's, and two, what we did last time when we talked about it, we tied it to the sheriff's term, which was a 4-year term. Because, whoever goes into that election, whether it be the current sheriff or then they figure a new sheriff, they don't want to have to assume someone else's debt going into that. So there are lots of different factors that factor into that. And, basically, what this resolution does is take that penny and put it back. It takes it out of fund balance. I want everybody to know what it does. It takes it out of fund balance and it dumps it back into the sheriff's budget. I mean, I walk out of here tonight not understanding that.
That'll happen next budget year.
Well, actually, this resolution will put into effect right now. It will happen tomorrow. If you approve this tonight, this will happen tomorrow. And it will authorize him to conduct the purchase. And for me to go out and negotiate the leases. I just want to make sure that it's clear.
Put on
What this
figures.
resolution does.
Put on figures for next budget years alone.
That's correct. But what the sheriff said was they won't manufacture again until September, and you're looking at 61 months out in the delivery. We won't actually pay for them until they're on Monroe County soil. Until they're standing there holding 3 sets of keys for each one.
And not to interrupt Director Hicks, we ran into that with the charters, it was not. We were, correct me if I'm wrong, but we were into almost a 6-year payment now.
What I told him was that if you don't have them on Monroe County soil by June 30th, we're done, we're through, you've lost your orders and over here, with the exception of one year.
It took a lot of pushing to get those.
Well, I mean, otherwise, we're talking next year, if we wait and do nothing, we're talking next year before you see vehicles. If you can't order until September, 6 months production, you're talking this time next year, in reality.
It's my responsibility to make sure
Sure.
that you all understand what you're voting for.
Well, and so, you said the penny, this is the penny that was taken out last year, so it was not a new expense, this was actually a savings because of those paid off last year.
But your total cost is still $1 million. It's not
You are
95,000.
obligating long-term debt for $1 million and,
I know you're looking
that's
at
totally,
numbers of
$1,2,914 plus interest, plus another 85, so you're looking at about $1 million. Yeah, I think that. Plus,
In our budget here, we have minus what you see before you, we have in our lines for lease of vehicles, lease of this vehicle, in the principal and interest line. That was funded last year in the budget because we were still under that lease. All of those are falling off now, minus 2, and 2 of those comes off in April of this year. So that money will be freed up, that's in there. This is going to that to give us a total amount.
What was our purchase price last time? 4 years ago, 5 years ago? How much did the county spend on vehicles? About 4 or 5 years ago. Times 5. 4 years.
That was what was paid off last year.
So
That we called.
we paid total $360,000.
I think the first question is, it's $1.1 for this purchase, what was the purchase point involved the charge, was it?
I wasn't here, then I don't know what it was.
Hold on a second. This will be close, because the purchase price was $52,000 and about 20. The purchase price last time was $52,000, some change, $1,040,000 last time.
We paid 15.
About 17, we got 20.
It was how much,
$1,040,000. And that's same process, same lease process.
That's what I'm just trying to figure out what has been spent in the past, what is it now?
The top of them are expensive, than the charge is on.
At the time.
Yeah, that's your household today to look at.
Yeah, that was
What it
great
is,
for us.
Straight back. And, it's about, at 10
Just so you know, I told last year's budget, in 1920, the total payment on all of their leases was $230,346. That was principal. The interest was $16,792. So that is what was the annual payment for those vehicles. In the year we're currently in, this year's payments were $156,094, and principal and interest was $11,028. So the difference in those 2 years are the several cars that were paid off. So if you put the 90-something back in, it would add to the 156 and the 11, then they would have that total. But how those totals line up to these payments without having the exact financing in front of us, I can't tell you if that's exactly enough, or maybe back it over 19 instead of 20, or maybe back it over 21, without having the exact financing papers in front of us, which we will get. That would just put the 95,000 back with the 156 and the 11. So that your total for payments would be that.
It isn't, because we can't technically move forward on this without him having the money in his bank. And that's the reason that he's asking that. Well, that and the fact, he told him to come back in January to read it out.
This just increases that. No, it does.
So,
It just increases the item 98,000. It's already been budgeted, right, for the cars. It's just increasing it.
The current, the 156,000 and the 11,000 is budgeted. This would add to that. So in June of this year, all these other ones will be paid off except for 3. Right, Tommy? 3.
Yeah, there's a Dodge Durango that's a beautiful one.
So 3 or 4 is all that'll be left to be paid on. And then you would add these 20 that he's asking for. If that 9, like I said, once we have all the numbers, we would be able to tell you the exact principal and interest payment.
So, I mean, you're really asking for $9,000, $9,800 difference in what we had budgeted last year. To be able to replace
Yes.
vehicles. So,
Yes, that's pretty much it.
We, if the math's right, what 20 years right off was $263,000 a year when we had the penny. So, we're looking at $250,000. About, actually.
so we're saving a little bit overall.
If that math's right.
Well, not only that, but I've been told that it's more quality vehicle than both chargers as well.
That's my question. I know Crown Vics, that was the car for years. They come out here with, 150,000+ still running. And these Dodges
still running.
still got some, I don't know how many miles I'm on, but I've got some too that's over 100,000 that's still running. These Dodges ain't holding up 100,000, so. I think Dodge is the ideal car to go back with, so.
I can attest to it, and my wife drives a Suburban, so it's the larger version of the Tahoe, and the fuel mileage is 19 or so to the gas. And I drive a Dodge, and I've had some issues out of it, so I know each is specific, but second Dodge and second transmission, I've had issues with that, so.
She got a great one.
Well, hopefully it allow that officer more time to go without having vehicles down all the time.
Well, we do run, I mean, with the size of our department and the employee size of it, we do have a lot of vehicles, there's no doubt. As far as everyone driving them everywhere, they're not. The on-call guys, yes, they do, the detectives, whoever, because, here's the thing, if a house is burglarized, or you got a shooting or what, I mean, Luke knows this very well, working for the state, the response time means a lot. Instead of having to go pick up the vehicle, drop theirs off, then respond, they go directly to the scene. That's why they have the vehicles. On the patrol side, these are the first responders. These guys are the ones, and that's who we always try to take care of. Everyone else gets hand-me-downs, and that's fine. The detectives get called last. It's over by the time they get there. Same way, courts and the SROs, the schools like that march unit sitting in front of the school. It's a deterrent for crime. But that being said, we try to take care of the patrol guys. They have hands to get. And the cars that we have now, we have 3 or 4 that sits on the lot that we use as, and trust me, we use 3 or 4 or 5. Sometimes these guys are having shared vehicles and running 24-hour shifts just because they're always sitting in the shop. We hauled out one day, we hauled 6 of these through Dodge. I will give Dodge credit. They have their warranty, they have done everything they said. Some of them have been out of warranty 2,000 or 3,000 miles. Dodge has been took care of it. Now, I'll give you credit for that, the warranty side has been great, but there's been a lot of problems with this. And
Can I ask one question, Ms. Knight, clarify, how many patrolmen do you have, and will they all get a brand new Tahoe?
it's all 20. Now, there's 18 Tahoes and 2 trucks, and the reason for the 2 trucks is there's no more Tahoes to get. But we're gonna go all 8, or all 20 the same, and, we could, there's already promised to do the same. So, and when they'll shut the production down, it's left us there. Which that was something that, you know, I guess it's same Friday, probably same deal.
I guess my question is, we're sort of setting precedent about, you know, why is the county buying Tahoes? I mean, that's the question I want to get, and I need to answer to.
Cheapest vehicle. When you're looking at SUVs, they're the cheapest one.
Well, you say cheapest vehicle, what's the next vehicle that, if you had a choice, Tahoe, and what would the other one be?
It would be the Ford, the next one would be. Because with Dodge, the issues we've had with Dodge, my Durango has been shot probably 14 times, all day. The one that's still on lease was a replacement for a Charger, the Red. Now, it's not been in once, I think. Twice. It's been in twice, maybe probably isn't 6, 7 months old. That's the, and like I'm saying, I guess, Joe, because I'm gonna have the same question asked to me, is why Tahoes? Because everyone looks at that as a luxury vehicle. You know, I can't afford a Tahoe. I got a Suburban, it's a 2002 model, 380,000 miles on it. I can't afford it. Love how I want, I can. But with total price and equipment, like I said, you got $50,450. The next cheapest one is the Ford, and it's $50,513, so it's more expensive. Then Dodge is actually the most expensive now, because they dominated the market for a few years. I guess they felt they could do this, it could raise the price. And warranty-wise, we're getting a 5-year, 100,000-mile warranty bumper to bumper on Chevy. Where Ford and Dodge, you get a 5-year, 100,000-mile drivetrain and a 3-year, 36,000-mile bumper to bumper. And then your fuel mileage, 19 miles a gallon Tahoe, 15 for the Explorer, and 16 for the Durango. So you get better fuel mileage too. And we have some Tahoes currently. Those vehicles have not given us problems. And mine, Rusty Junior has the one I used to drive. It has probably 280 to 300,000 miles on it. Brakes, rotors, normal life, engine, transmission's been fine. So we're hoping better quality vehicle last night. Maybe we won't be here in 4 years.
I understand the need on the SUVs and the mountainous areas, y'all sometimes get into everything, but does all 20 of them need to be Tahoe? Do they still offer like a Prius or something like that, or? So this is all they offer is a Tahoe?
They've done away with the Prius. Ford has done away with the Taurus.
Yeah, so all the sedans are gone.
The only car available now is the Taurus.
I know it's most state troopers are 44.
Yeah, there's a trooper that has a Chevy Caprice, and he's having some mechanical issues.
Yeah.
He's fixing some of it out of his own pocket, because he don't want to fill THP, because next thing he goes in is the Ford SUV.
So all sedans are gone. It's just that now, so it's all we would buy.
Mine's for Charger, it's still there.
Now, what's the state bid on the Charger?
31,000 and change, state bid.
Tahoe's are 35?
The Chargers for a V8 is $25,801 on the state bid today.
They don't offer the, they're all V6s.
They're all V6.
They're what?
They're all V6s.
No, this is the V8. The V6 is $27,444.
Doing state bid now, where you find them all that.
Yeah, we could find more V8s.
I think the reliability and the warranty of the Dodges is really
They've reduced the warranties from the
is
5-year
an issue. I mean, we're getting almost the same price, we're getting better warranty, and better vehicles.
We're hoping.
Yeah.
4 years ago, I thought the Chargers were the best thing we ever had. They were.
Any more discussion? Questions? All right, we'll move to question, roll call vote.
Joe Anderson,
No.
Luke Brown,
No.
Brian Harrell, Richard Kirkland, Chad Leeny, Adam Reynolds, Bill Shannon,
No.
Paul Sonny,
No.
Roger Thomas, Chris Weisman. Five ayes, 5 nays.
Do what? Fail. Motion failed. Question? Mayor? All right, resolution 0223-9. Resolution to establish and update occupational safety and health program plan and devise rules and regulations and to provide for a safety director and the implementation of such program plan. Whereas in compliance with Public Chapter 561 of the General Assembly of the State of Tennessee for the year 1972, Monroe County hereby updates the occupational safety and health program plans for our employees. Whereas due to various changes of subsequent years, it has become necessary to amend the program plan and comply with more recent state requirements. Now, therefore, it be resolved by the Monroe County Board of Commissioners that it be hereby follows. And it goes into the title, and it's called the Occupational Safety and Health Program Plan for Employees in Monroe County. The purpose is the Monroe County Board of Commissioners in electing to update and establish a program plan will maintain an effective and comprehensive occupational safety and health program plan for its employees, and so on. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Fleming, second.
Roll call vote, please.
Joe Anderson,
Aye.
Luke Brown, Brian Harrell, Richard Kirkland, Chad Leeny, Adam Reynolds, Bill Shannon, Paul Sonny,
Aye.
Roger Thomas, Chris Weisman.
Resolution 0223-10, this is the appointment of Mr. Tyler Weiss, attorney at law, to be Monroe County Trustee's Office of Delinquent Tax Attorney, beginning on 3/1/2021 through 2/28/2022. Tennessee Code annotated 67-2002 provides the compensation of the attorney which will not exceed 10% of the delinquent taxes collected. I therefore recommend the compensation for Mr. Tyler Weiss be 10% of all delinquent taxes collected, all in accordance with Tennessee Code annotated 67-2002.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Joe Anderson,
Aye.
Luke Brown, Brian Harrell, Richard Kirkland, Chad Leeny, Adam Reynolds, Bill Shannon, Paul Sonny, Roger Thomas, Chris Weisman.
Motion carries, thank you. The added agenda item for tonight, resolution going back a few months, is resolution number 1124-12. A resolution authorizing the Monroe County Mayor to pursue negotiations with Monroe County Friends of Animals, McFall, for the potential transfer of animal control to McFall. Whereas Monroe County desires to explore alternative opportunities to provide animal control services within Monroe County, and whereas McFall has expressed Monroe County's desire and willingness to pursue any construction of an animal control /shelter facility upon its completion and provide animal control and shelter services for citizens and residents in Monroe County. And whereas McFall desires to pursue an agreement with Monroe County for Monroe County to continue to provide McFall sufficient annual monetary contribution to ensure McFall's ability to provide the needed animal control services. And whereas McFall wishes to negotiate an agreement with Monroe County to address essential terms of such an arrangement, and whereas Monroe County is agreeable to authorizing the Monroe County Mayor to pursue such initial negotiations and report back to the Monroe County Commission to secure final approval of any proposed arrangement between Monroe County and McFall.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Hey, Claire, I want to say,
Discussion?
yes, I think a couple of members of the commission need to be with the mayor in the discussion. So I don't know if that's the need of it. I'd have to remember. Resolution on the committee for the animal.
I make a motion that we add the animal shelter committee to that negotiation.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I think there is one typo on this resolution. I do not believe that McFall wants animal control. So that
Take
could
out.
be in the resolution or taken out, and that could be part of the discussion, but I think that's something that
Okay.
Mr. Barrett pointed out.
All right, thank you. It's animal shelter services.
Yes.
Thank you.
So we have a motion to amend. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Amendment.
All right.
I'm not ready to adjourn. I'd like to address the commission.
Wait a minute. We voted on the.
We got a motion.
I didn't know if this was 64
We have a motion and a second, and it's been amended to add the animal shelter committee for this vote. Roll call vote, please.
Joe Anderson,
Aye.
Luke Brown,
Aye.
Brian Harrell,
something.
Richard Kirkland, Chad Leeny, Adam Mills, Bill Shannon, Paul Sonny, Roger Thomas, Chris Wise.
Motion carries. Mr. Harrell.
Yes, I would like to address the commission as to maybe, and/or the mayor especially, as to why 0223-5A was pulled from tonight's agenda.
There was this, you're referring to the Massey Ferguson tractor.
Yes, sir.
There was a interest in the city of Madisonville to purchase that tractor and go through proper finance. The county commission, along with the city of Madisonville, just like any annex negotiation, animal shelter has to come to approval. It came before it was decided to license it. The city was not interested in pursuing that particular price. So they felt that they could get it cheaper somewhere else because they felt that they could go to Florida and get one for free or something like that. So they chose not to be interested in buying and purchasing. That is an interlocal agreement. We've done that to several municipalities before.
So this was pulled due to that fact, and it was not auctioned off,
It was auctioned off.
and the price was?
This particular tractor was always mentioned in the surplus property being sold. When it was mentioned and it's advertised in the very first sale pre-COVID that we had, the tractor was advertised. That's when the city expressed interest. So when the city declined interest in it, we put it back in the sale. It was advertised multiple times in the paper as well. That tractor appraised anywhere between, based on it being a four-wheel drive, hours. It did have some mechanical issues with the hydraulics, and the loader was not the exact fit for that tractor. So we priced it based on appraisal to the city at $16,500. Saturday, it brought, and I think we had several commissioners there, it brought $17,000.
Not 17.5.
17.5.
17.5, yes, 17.
And you were the auctioneer.
I was the auctioneer, yes.
Because I was not attendance myself. As many of you that were there did not see me, but I did have it called to my attention that this was auctioned off. And I did want to make sure that we were under the impression, or I was corrected at least in your presence, that this was something that you were allowed to do without approval from us because it had been before, correct?
Yes, because it was always advertised for the auction.
Okay. Because, well, that's not what I was.
Right.
What I was disputing, the fact was, pertaining to Tennessee Code Annotated 12-2-420 and 12-9-110. And the fact that, you being in charge of auction is not necessarily the issue.
No, as long as I'm not receiving benefit or revenue.
Yeah.
I did obviously don't charge the
And,
county
you know, it's
free
it's our
service.
city, and
Right.
they're governmental agencies.
Right.
And I also was just wanting to clarify with the fact that, you know, this was not needing prior authorization from us as a governing body, right?
Not to my knowledge. It's about the auction, to me to auction or auction the tractors.
No, to auction the tractor.
No, the tractor has always been part of that, and the resolution reads, in any items that have been inadvertently omitted.
Inadvertently what?
Omitted from
Omitted.
that. And and I think I told everybody here, when we started this, I had an original list, and what we allowed to happen, Commissioner Harrell, was we would go around to each department in the county and say, do you have need to improve your office furniture? There's a pool of it down here. A lot of them swapped their desks. A lot of them did things. So what was auctioned off was not necessarily the original list. Stacey Chambers called me and said we had this tractor, and it was out at one of the convenience centers. It was purchased many, many years ago to bush hog at the convenience centers. Every time they tried to bush hog, someone had either stolen an expensive battery, they had cut fuel lines, they had pulled spark plugs, they did all kinds of things. We bid it out. It was more efficient for the county to hire that done. And then we added it to the list because Monroe County did not need that anymore. We're going to have to pay someone to run the tractor, and there are all kinds of liability issues with it. At that point, I went and I talked to Angela Talent. I couldn't find a title on it. It had been so long. She told me you don't have titles for tractors. That you could do a bill of sale. We thought the city was going to take it. I was going to do a bill of sale. The city backed out at the last minute. We added it in to the items that were sold in there. And to be quite frank, I was thrilled with what we were able to bring back into the county, and I think the mayor was going to tell you that.
Yeah.
He's got the total on it. We sold it. We sold the bush hog that everybody thought they would get $300 or $400 for. We got $1,100 out there. We still have items left that we're going to have to do something with. We're going to have to talk people into taking them or swapping their furniture or something. But it was a productive thing for Monroe County. It brought back in revenue, and it helped a lot of our offices whose furniture was falling apart. Maybe we want to give them the total.
$20,876 is what we raised that day to go back in the general fund. And I want to personally thank Albert for allowing some trustees. Those guys worked hard for 3 days. They helped load out desks, filing cabinets, all day Saturday down there. And thank you, Albert, Sheriff, Lori, Libby, and everyone that put. It was a very professionally done auction. And not on my part, but I mean, it was the money checked out the first time versus the checkout tickets, the load tickets, everything was done very professional.
And back to the mayor conducting the auction, he is a licensed auctioneer. I have a copy of his license, for that. And he's an appraiser. It was very beneficial to us for the mayor to do that and not charge the fee that an auctioneer would do. And we reaped more money from that sale than we would have from a yard sale. And I wish wish that you all had been there, because Lori organized it all, thank goodness. And Blaine and I sat there, and Blaine on a spreadsheet, and I dealt with the money, and we had somebody came by, and she didn't tell on her spreadsheet, I found my money, it was due again. So, and none of us got paid for that Saturday job, and y'all know that, none of you brought us biscuits and coffee. And we worked really hard, and unfortunately, thank Lori and the rest of them who worked so hard, and Albert and Sandra, and then Chris White came down and made sure that nobody hit me over the head with $2,300.
All right, we appreciate y'all's hard work on that. Thank you, Mayor, for your help.
Well, I'm not sure tonight.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a motion to adjourn? Hang on a second.
Sorry, just one more thing, will our county attorney, do we have access to anybody, if I need to talk to
Yeah,
him?
Councilor Melson is still with us, providing services. I fully expect that it's going to be on the March meeting.
Are we about to accept his resignation? That's what we need to do. Is that hard by you?
Your own state, is there a resignation process?
When a new person is identified, I will resign, and then you will confirm the mayor's appointment of that person.
Is there a motion to adjourn?